So adding integers means adding positive and negative numbers. Really the rules are not changing from anything you've known in the past. So in the past, right, you would have seen something like 3 plus 5, and if I had a visual of that, it means addition means I'm putting things together, I'm combining things. So I'd be at, 3 positives. So if I'm at 3 here and I'm adding 5, it means I'm moving in this direction plus 5. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? I'm going plus 5 would end me right there at 8. 3 plus 5 is 8. Another way to think about it would be 3 positives plus 5 positives all together makes 8. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if I add something, in this case it's a positive, I'm going to move in the positive direction. Same exact idea when I'm encountering negative numbers. If I have 3 plus a negative 5, I'm going to combine those numbers. But I'm adding a negative, so I'm going to move in the opposite direction this time. I'm adding a negative, so I'm moving in the opposite direction. So if I'm at 3, then I have to go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 2, 1, 0, negative 1, negative 2 is my answer. Another way to look at this would be if I have 3 positives and 5 negatives. These here, a positive and a negative would make 0, a positive and a negative would make 0, a positive and a negative would make 0. They're called neutral pairs. They almost cancel each other out. I'm left with negative 2. So if I have a positive and a negative, I think of it as like good guys and bad guys, or almost like Star Wars, where this is the good guys, negative is the bad guys. We have more bad guys, so the bad guys win in this case. Or Star Wars, there's the light side of the Force and the dark side of the Force. The dark side in this case is stronger, it has more pull, so at a negative answer. If you have a positive and a negative number, right, we could do the models. That totally works. We'll do another model so you can see that. So let's say 8 plus a negative 4. Alright, so I can make a number line. That would totally work. Starting at 8, and I'm going to add a negative 4. But remember, when I'm adding a negative, I'm going to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going down 4. That's adding a negative 4. So that would be 7, 6, 5, 4 is my answer. I could have 8 positives, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 4 negatives, 1, 2, 3, 4. These here are neutral pairs. They'll cancel each other out, make 0. I'm left with 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 is my answer. There's 8 good guys and 4 bad guys. Good guys win. There's 8, of the light side of the Force, 4 of the bad side of the Force. I'm coming out there. There's more positive than there is negative. So what's going on here is if you have 1 positive and 1 negative, you'll notice 5 minus 3 would make 2. 8 minus 4 would be 4. So if one's negative and one's positive, you're going to subtract them, and my answer is going to be on which has the greater force. So my answer is based off the greater force, and this means the absolute value. So whichever one has a greater absolute value, that's going to tell you the force, and this is for opposites. So these are great examples to do. The pictures are great, but when I get large numbers, like let's say 93 plus negative 37, okay, I don't want to draw a number line out, and I know I got to move on the number line in the negative direction or to the left, right? And that's a good way to think about reasoning with my answer, but it's going to be a pain in the butt to draw that. Or I don't want to draw 93 plus signs and 37 negative signs. So when I have larger numbers, I'm going to need to employ different tactics. So just like we did in the previous ones, I'm going to have to subtract them. 93 minus 37. So I get 56. Now I have good guys, bad guys. Light side of the force, dark side of the force. The light side of the force is greater here, therefore my answer is a positive 56. I give you a different example. Maybe we'll say negative 52 plus 15. You'll notice here I have more negatives than positives. The dark side is stronger than the light side because this is 52 from 0, this is only 15 from 0. So my answer is going to be negative. I would again subtract them because one is positive and one is negative. I'd be at negative 52 and I'd move towards the positive side 15 spots. So I want to figure out where I'm going to be at. 7, 3. So I'm at 37 now, but I started negative and there's more negative force, so it's going to be a negative 37. So you have to take a second, think about which way on the number line am I moving, which force is greater. A word problem type that you might see would be something like, okay, the temperature was negative 3 degrees and it rose 14 degrees. What is it now? So that would be a negative 3, and rose means plus 14 degrees, right? So again, I'm at negative 3 and I'm going up 14 degrees on the number line. I have more of the positive than of the negative. So I'm going to subtract those numbers and I get 11 degrees Fahrenheit. Now it's a positive 11 because I was at negative 3, right? If we're thinking about this. Negative 3, and if I'm going up 14, I'm definitely passing 0. So I'm going to end somewhere 14 spaces this way, and it would be at 11 degrees Fahrenheit. If I go, back to this one, just thinking about it, I'm at negative 52, 0 somewhere over here. I'm only going 15 spaces. So I'm going to be somewhere in the negatives. Here I was at 93. 0 somewhere over here. I'm going to go in this direction plus a negative 37, right? So if I'm adding a negative, I'm going to the left, but I don't get to 0 because I'm not moving 93 spaces. That's kind of a way to think about it and helping you out there. So we talked about if one's positive and one's negative. Let's look at a couple examples if they're both negative. So if I had negative 3 plus negative 2, I owe someone $3 and then they tack on 2 more bucks. Negative 3 plus negative 2. Well, in this case, I have 5 negative signs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or my number line, I'm at negative 3, moving towards a negative direction, 2. So I'm going once, twice. Be negative 4, negative 5 is my answer. So they're both negative. I'm going to add them together. Negative 30 plus negative 15. I'm at negative 30, and I'm going in the negative direction, 15. They're both negative, so I'm going further negative, further from 0. I'm going 15 more. Well, 30 plus 15 makes 45. But thinking about my number line, I'm moving in the negative direction. So I'm going to be at negative 45 because they're both negative. Last one. If I had negative 150 plus a negative 23. Negative 150 adding a negative 23 means I'd be moving 23 spaces that way. 150 and 23 is 173. I got bad guys, I add more bad guys. I owe someone money, I borrow more money. Their dark side, and then they get more skills and add more to the dark side. It is a negative answer.